Hey family, how you doing? How you feeling? Welcome back to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations when we have conversations that we need to have. Hello, we need to normalize healthy conversations. We need to normalize healthy, powerful conversations and most importantly, a healthy conversation within a relationship. Y'all, today's conversation is all about relationships and I know that everybody likes talking about it. So I am super, super, super excited to be joined by this beautiful, beautiful queen next to me, Rocki Campbell. When I tell you, I seen her on social media and I was super gravitated towards everything that Rocki does just because Rocki just talks about all things relationships. She is a relationship like guru, okay? And so you guys are definitely in for a treat. So Rocki, please, if you can, and hold on. We have the same name. So y'all already know that this is about to be a treat, okay? Two people here with the same name. Yeah, this is about to be a good episode. It's probably gonna be my favorite one,
We
okay?
gonna make it happen.
Please introduce yourself. Please let us know all about you, and then we're gonna get into the episode.
All right, right. Well, thank you for having me first and foremost. Yes, I am Rocki Campbell, licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of Nevada. I am a
Love that.
masculine presenting biracial black woman from the East Bay who
Yeah.
grew up in a huge family. And that's what made me want to learn more about relationships in the first place. So I try my best. I try to be real down to earth and direct with my clients and my friends. So I'm looking forward to this.
Nice. Oh my God. Can I just say that you start all of your videos the same way? And I'll be like, you better tell them who you are, girl. Like, I just love it. Like, I just find myself just like watching just because I'm like, when you don't do the intro, I'll be like, what's going on? Where's the intro? So I definitely love that you start off and let people know like this is who I am. Here's what I do, and then here's the message. Like I will just
Yes.
say that. I just love that, by the way.
The funny part about it is I had a cousin come visit me recently, and when she came into my office, she's like, okay, this is where all the magic happens. Let me sit here and do it. And she did it, and I was like, okay, that made an impression. I like that. So I just kept it.
Yes. As you should. I love it. I'll be like in the state of Nevada and what? And so what else about to go? Anyway, I love it. All right, so I kind of want to get into it. You kind of mentioned it a little bit. You say you had a big family, but you are a licensed marriage and family therapist. So what and why did you even enter this crazy field?
Listen, when I actually did my undergrad, I got a bachelor's in criminal justice and in psychology. And when it came for me to make the decision, I'm a research person. So I researched both social work and marriage and family. And social work just seemed too rigid,
Mm,
and there seemed to be a lot of bureaucracy that
mm,
took away from the focus of the client and what causes them to have the disruptions in their life. Marriage and family seem to be very structured on that because it's system based. So that's kind of where I naturally flowed into the
mm.
system.
I love that. And I definitely agree. Some days I'd be like, dang, why didn't I go into social work? And then I realized like first of all, the answer is always very clear. I love marriage and family therapy. It just kind of it helps you understand the why, like the kind of like what's deeper in it, why they are at the social work level. It's like the
Mhm.
step before you would get to social work and
Right.
or the step to prevent you to get into the social work field. So yeah, thank you. So
Don't worry.
the way we start our episodes is with an icebreaker game. Today, and y'all know we got our cards. They are available on In.sessionmft.com. So make sure you get yours. And we are having a holiday sale. So make sure y'all look out for that. Hey family, how you doing? How you feeling? What is up? First off, get into the sweater. It's lighting up. Secondly, I want to stop and tell y'all that In Session is having a holiday sale. I have the couples edition cards and individual from November 21st to December 26th, In Session MFT will be giving a 30% off discount. 30% off. Listen, you know what I could do with 30% off of a lot of things? Heal, okay? Tap in because In Session MFT has the discounts, okay? We got the discounts, y'all. You know what I'm feeling? Just because I don't know why, just something in my spirit is saying to do this. From the 24th to the 28th, so for Black Friday, we're going to do a 40% off. 40%, listen, at this point, I'm giving it away. At this point, it's giving it away. We're going to do a 40% off for Black Friday sale. So from November 24th to November 28th, we'll have 40% off. No, that's too good. That's too good. For the first 5 people. Because at this point, listen, I got to make my coin too. Hold on. Wait, so from November 24th to November 28th, for the first 5 people, it'll be 40% off. For the first 5 people, we're going to make these cards 40% off. It don't get no better than that. Once those 5 people is up, though, we back to 30. Because, mama got to make her point too. Hold on. It's the holidays. Make sure that we are giving the gifts of healing. So what are you waiting for? We got the supply. Hold on. We got the supplies. Hold on. Let me get it. We got this. Hold on. Listen, I am ready to bag these up. These could be yours. Support for the holidays. We're ready. They all have your name on it. Healing has your name on it. What are you waiting for? Let's get it, y'all. Happy holidays. But we are going to do the couples edition card. So the way I always start off the cards is I shuffle them because I don't want people to think that all the cards are like rigged and they are, only what I want you to say or answer or whatever. So that is not the case at all. So I always shuffle them. And then what I am going to do is wave my finger around until you get your copy. We can't do this. We only could do this way.
Right.
So I'm going to, and I hope you can see, I'm like, this light that I have is kind of bright, which I love for me, but then when we get to this portion, it's kind of weird. So pick a card, any card. I'm gonna go like this.
Right there.
Oh, right here.
Yep, I want that one. That one's calling my name.
Wow. Okay, let's see. First of all, this is like going to be a great segue to our entire conversation. It's like, what are the odds? Anyway, so this says a healthy relationship means to me, name at least 3.
Ooh, okay. One of the things that I constantly repeat is curiosity, respect, and friendship. These are the things that will keep your relationship connected. You have to be friends. You have to have respect. And how do you learn to grow past the things that you might not have been taught in your childhood? Curiosity, because that's the one thing every child learns through. So those are my 3 things.
Nice. I mean, if that wasn't a perfect segue to our entire topic, I don't know what is. But yes, I definitely agree, especially with I want to say the friends part because I feel like that keeps you kind of grounded and it keeps you understanding your why, and the curiosity part. I've never heard anybody point out the curiosity part, but if we are always evolving, so the curiosity is like, come on, you have to be curious about who you're like laying next to. Let's be real.
Most definitely. Think about it. When you went on that first date, the things that you wanted to know about your person, the things that you wanted to see if when you were vetting them, you wanted to see if they were good in this. And that curiosity started the relationship, and you got to water it throughout the relationship. Now, obviously, that's going to transform because you're going to be curious about different things. How does, involving a child in our relationship, or this new job, or maybe even a medical issue. Curiosity keeps everything brand new.
Mm, I agree. That was really well said. So we're gonna start off, and we're kind of gonna go in a little bit of an order in which like relationships happen. So the first thing I want to speak about is people's views on being single and why is being single such a negative thing? Like, what is it?
Listen, as a Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
I have studied a lot of our history, and being coupled has
Mm-hmm.
always been the epitome, right? If a person doesn't have a person, then that makes you some way inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
Be it female, male, 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 female, female, whatever the combination is, it makes you undesirable or lacking in some way, shape, or form. But that is also to couple with the idea that I only can be great if I decide to
Yeah.
have a person next to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going back to the heteronormative idea that women must change their name when they get married.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why must I give up a person as part of my person, right? To couple with this person because now I have value,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think one of the things that people miss when it comes to being single is that idea or concept of self-love
Mm-hmm.
is the foundation of any relationship. And that may sound selfish and that may sound self-centered, but you cannot learn to love yourself or love someone else unless you first learn to love yourself.
Exactly. I
Right?
agree. You definitely said a few things. So I want to kind of unpack. And so I just got married in May, and I've been, oh, thank you.
Congrats.
And I've been talking about the entire process that has been, because I was the one who changed my name.
Okay.
And I've been having so many conversations about it, about like, what does people's like last name mean to them? And like, what does it mean? Like, what are you tied to, or why are you tied to your last name? And the responses are actually widely different. So I'm really happy that you pointed that out, because I don't even know where that started. I don't know where it started of like, all right, now you become this one person and this is what you need to do. And this is kind of the rules that you have to follow. So I'm definitely interested that you even pointed that out. And I'm just like, wait, is this an attack on me or what?
Not at all. And here's the thing, sadly to say, it goes back to ownership. And
Mm,
this is not
mm,
talking about solely colonization ownership, but back in the day, a woman wasn't able to work, so she had to have a suitor to support her, which meant he owned her.
mm,
Right? So giving that name brought ownership to say who I belong to.
mm.
Now, think about it like this, in a heterosexual relationship, a woman changes her title, a man doesn't,
Right.
right? Why is that?
Mm,
Why does the man doesn't have to change anything, right? But I
yeah.
have to change everything, my name, my title, everything. How am
Yes.
I presenting? I'm presenting as property, which is
Mm,
another like hardship when it comes to relationship because a lot of people have that idea that I own you when I marry you.
mm.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with my wife today. Like, do you see me as property or what? Like, what is it giving? I don't think she sees me as that.
No, not at all.
It was my idea. Like, before we
Right.
even get into it, it was my idea to change my last name, by the way. The next thing you spoke about in that is being selfish, or having the ability to be selfish while in a relationship. Can you kind of like go a little bit into that? Because that's actually seen as such a negative thing, to be able to care, or only want to take care of well, not only, but take care of yourself first.
One of the things that I have in my office, I have a huge sign that says, go ahead and be selfish. And
Mm,
the reason I promote that idea to my clients is because when we are taught as children to love, we are taught to love externally.
mm-hmm,
We are
mm,
never taught to love ourselves.
mm,
And then when we do things that are for our own favor, we are called selfish.
mm.
So selfish would never be brought up unless a third party was uncomfortable with whatever behavior you were using, right?
Yeah,
Because you're using it on you, not them.
right.
So go ahead and be selfish. Go ahead and have your girls' night. Go ahead and say no. Do what makes you feel comfortable, because when you're happy, guess what? So am I.
Exactly. Agreed. Listen, I even like being married or being in a long-term relationship, I love going out by myself and prioritizing me. And you'd be surprised how many people, even without even being in a relationship, that they're so afraid to date themselves and
Mm-hmm.
kind of pour into themselves and figure out what they like and don't like, so that when they are ready to be in a relationship, they are ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's insane. I feel like you should be able to date you. If you cannot date you, how can somebody else date you?
Right. Right. And the idea is your relationship doesn't make you, you make your relationship. So
Exactly.
you have to be selfish. You have to be at the top of the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Agreed. So why do you feel like people see being single, especially in like the cuffing season that we are in now? People, I've seen like people get like really depressed during this time of year because they are not in a relationship. Like what is something that you feel like you would say to them? Because I
I
think
think a lot of people feel like being single means that they're unwanted,
mm,
or unlovable,
mm,
but there's something about them that is keeping others at distance,
oh,
right?
okay.
Because if I was, a size 6, oh, I'd be fly.
Mm,
If I was this, I would be wanted, and it goes back to kind of that high value type of ideology,
oh, yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, they may be overlooking what is really keeping them stagnant
Mm,
versus, you know what I'm saying, looking into, well, why am I not in a relationship? Am I ready for a relationship? Do I self-sabotage? Right? Do
yeah.
I pick patterns of people that make me feel comfortable to my trauma? What is the thing?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's like, especially first of all, being single is not a bad thing. Like, I, me being in a relationship is cool, but when I was single, I had a great time. Like, it was never anything like super terrible about being single. So I don't know why it has such a negative like connotation to it. And I definitely agree, this is the time. Being single is the way that you self-reflect on like what is it that you're doing. So
I
I
think people
definitely
need to understand that being single is the season for watering yourself,
agree. Mm,
right? Everything has its season. You don't wear a swimsuit in the winter. Well, maybe in Vegas, but
right.
but everything has its season. And when you're single, that's that season for you to do your own housekeeping,
Hmm.
right? And if people valued that more, maybe they wouldn't have such a hardship with announcing or professing that they are single.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is the perfect like segue for me to ask, what is it to for someone to be emotionally unavailable, and like what are some key characteristics that shows you that you are emotionally unavailable?
Listen, I have a whole list. And one thing any of my followers will tell you, I have a notepad close to me at all times. And I have a whole list of things, unavailable behaviors.
Mm,
But it comes down to I am not emotionally ready, or I am afraid to be hurt again,
mm,
because I haven't figured out why I keep going in the same circles,
yeah.
right? And emotional availability is just saying, I'm confused about what this means and what that means and how I respond to it, or why do I respond to it this way. And there's a lot of emotional immaturity that
Mm.
goes into that.
Nice. Right. I definitely agree. So what would you say are, if I was dating someone or someone was dating and they were like,
Yes.
uh-oh, if someone was dating someone, like what are some things to like kind of like look out for, some red flags that people could look out for?
Well, not being clear, for
Mm,
one. If a person is not wanting to label the situation. Now, this is not talking about going from dating to being in a relationship. I'm not talking about labeling that. I'm
mm,
saying if you've been messing with someone and you're cool and y'all vibing and this and that and the other, but they don't want to put a label on it, we
mm,
just kicking it. We're not dating.
mm.
That's definitely a sign,
Yeah.
right? Not wanting to incorporate you in important things of their life. They have a
Mm,
work meeting and they don't want to invite you, or, just keeping you at a distance in some way, shape, or form. Putting
mhm.
that space in there because, as you know, when you find that person you want to spend time with, you want them with you all the time.
All the
You
time.
want to live in their skin,
Yeah.
right? But if someone is not treating you like that and they're treating you like an outsider or a play toy or something, like I say, like take off the shelf and play with me and put me back,
Mm,
that's definitely a huge sign that they are not emotionally available.
yeah, I definitely agree. So, what are some like maybe relationship red flags that people should probably look for when they are interested in dating?
Communication is culture. It is key.
Mm-hmm.
If a person is responding negatively to things that you communicate ambiguously, that's probably a red flag,
Mm,
right? If someone doesn't have the nature to think gracefully
mm,
and is more defensive,
yeah.
that's probably going to be a red flag. When a person tells you about their past because they want to be clear and they want to be direct and they want to show you all their business, but for some strange reason, everybody in their past is crazy or
Mm,
narcissistic because that's the new word, right?
yeah.
You should probably run.
Yeah.
hmm And if a person thinks that they can win you through materialistic things
Mm,
versus intellect, emotion, connection, in my opinion, those are red flags.
agreed. Actually, I agree with all of those for sure. Especially, and I'll add one to when you said it kind of made me think is if everybody else was the problem, like if everybody else is crazy, oh my goodness. I remember having a conversation with someone and I was just like, okay, so like what, tell me what went wrong in this relationship or this past relationship. And everything was like, well, she didn't do this. And when she would do this, I didn't like it was just so much of the other person. And I was just sitting there and I'm just like, well, you never said relationship takes two, and you never said anything that you did. And I
Right.
know for a fact you were not like a
You're not perfect.
yeah, exactly. I was just like,
Right.
yeah, this is a red flag because one, you don't know how to take accountability.
Right.
And two, you haven't learned
Right.
anything
Right.
because now everything is, well, this person did this to me, and this person, when they did this, they did like everything is about the other person and nothing is
hmm
about you. I don't believe it.
One of the things that I give to my clients and I use in my own life when I met my fiance is on our first date, I said, I want you to tell me three things that your exes would say about you.
Mm,
Right now, the reason this is powerful to me is because the way that they convey that information tells you a lot about what they think about their ex, and
mm,
the
mm,
information
mm,
tells you a lot. So I had a person in my past who said, well, yeah, my exes always said that I made them feel like the mother in the relationship, and they called me childish. And I said, childish or childlike? Because there's a
mm,
difference. I want to know the difference, right? Because some people will get into a relationship wanting to be your mother and then
mm,
blame you because you made them your mother,
mm.
right? And then some people want you to be something else, childlike, right? And then when you step into your inner child, they want to punish you the same way your parents did,
Mm. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
right. So taking that step to find out three different ways, because if all three people from your past had the same problem, that's going to let me know a lot about who you are.
Wow. I agree. So, Kate, what can you speak to about like the baggage that you come with in
Mm.
a relationship? Speaking of like the way that your ex would view you, like what would you speak about on like personal baggage or old relationship baggage coming into a new one?
I tell clients to look at people's baggage like you're a TSA officer.
Mm,
I have several friends who work at TSA. Hi, y'all. But everything is not a weapon. Everything is not dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
right? We all have our undergarments in our line, our luggage. We all have our needs, right? But that luggage is going to tell you where this person has been and where
Mm-hmm.
they want to go,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Yeah.
have to be able to vet to find out what's dangerous and what's useful.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, a person is a person and we all have a story to tell,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that story means how I can care for you, how I can learn you. It teaches me how to communicate with you.
Yeah.
So figure out what's dangerous and figure out what's useful.
I definitely agree. While listening to you say that, kind of made me think about like your intentions on dating. Definitely worth like pointing out. Like, are you here for like just because? Are you here to probably be here the long haul? Because then that would determine, I feel, the amount of investment that
Mhm.
a person will actually put into treating their relationship like TSA.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important when we get into a relationship, we have to know what job we're being hired for.
Mm.
Right. In my past relationship, I was definitely, the mother ATM,
Oh,
right? And I can admit that,
okay.
right? Because I was a fixer.
Oh, yeah.
I had my tool belt on for years.
Wow.
And I was a fixer who unknowingly was addicted to being validated in that way.
Mm.
Right? Right? So I have to know what job I'm being hired for because I don't know if I applied to be an ATM. I don't know if I applied for that part though.
For sure. That's like when you start a new job and you read the descriptions, but then now they throw in different job descriptions at you that you never signed off on. It's like,
Right.
hold on, hold on. Nobody's paying me anything extra here. Why are
Right,
we
right,
doing
right.
more than what? That's big. How did you end up like what was that point where you found out or you were able to wake up one day and then just decide or see like, wait, this is the role that I'm playing? Like, how did you even get there?
I have a rule of three. Anything
Okay.
that you do in your life three times is a habit.
Okay.
And what I do is I look at my past situations, I look at my past relationships, conversations, or whatever the case may be. And when I can recognize a pattern, because that's how my brain works, when I can recognize a pattern, I will search for the problem. So
Mm.
when I looked at my past relationships, I'm like, okay, all of them gave me a sob story.
Oh, oh,
Ooh,
oh my
right?
goodness. Yes.
And that sob story made me feel something. So what part of me did that sob story connect with?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So learning me and investigating me and spending time with me helped me be able to distinguish, okay, you need to do some people pleasing work and you need to go ahead and put that Bob the Builder side of you to rest
Mm-hmm.
because that's not what we're here for. We're not, I am not an IKEA type of person, right? I want to buy my furniture already put together and grown.
Exactly. And first off, that's just exhausting. Like being in a relationship where you constantly have to fix and you see a lot of potential in
Mm-hmm.
people. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you're burnt out over the place that's supposed to fill you up.
Right. And I think that burnout is why a lot of relationships fizzle so fast because people don't want to admit what they've taken on unintentionally or directly.
Agreed. I remember that was a lot of my relationships too. I'm like, I wonder if that's why we're therapists. So you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take this expertise and put it this way, this place, and not actually in my relationship because you get like kind of drawn into people's stories, and then all of a sudden I'm invested, and now I'm like, trying to do way more than you would ever do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, you probably might have struck a nerve here because I'm like, yeah, I could come up with an entire list of people who I've done that for sure.
Right. Right. When I was in undergrad, one of my supervisors told me the best way to stay out of from drowning in the content is to stay outside of the house. You can
Mm.
look in through the window, but don't ever walk through the door. Because at that point, that's when you're owning it.
Oh, and you're becoming a part of it.
You become a part of it.
Mm.
Right?
Understood. Understood. I'm taking mental notes. I know like this is like a conversation between clearly two people who have the same degree, but it's always like worth and beneficial to speak to other people and
Most
actually learn
definitely.
because I'm just like I'm taking mental notes because it's like I'm always looking for ways to grow and be able to reflect. So I definitely appreciate your responses for sure.
Yeah.
So now we're going to transition to being in the relationship. Now
Okay.
that we're in the relationship, how do you feel like it's so easy for people to lose themselves in a relationship? Hey, family, thank you so much for watching, but make sure that you are subscribed. Be sure to like, comment, and share. And if you're listening, leave a 5-star review. Back to the show.
Well, I know you know that I made a whole video about that when it came to my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that sacrificial piece that ties into our self worth.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't do this, will they still love me? Right? And that ties into a lot of, childhood trauma and things like that when you're grown into a conditional love environment, which a lot of us are unintentionally. I know my mother definitely used academics
Mm-hmm.
as that kind of carrot in my face, right? You do great and you'll get this. I'll pay you this
Mm-hmm.
much money and things like that. But they don't understand how that transitions to their relationship. So if
Right.
you have someone who especially may have like an unsecure attachment or whatever the case may be, then they're going to be kind of emotionally vetting you to see, okay, what do I do to make this or keep this person happy?
Yeah.
Right. I noticed that when I went out with the girls last week, they had a little bit of attitude and they were sad when I came back. So I don't want to do that no more because I don't want to put that on them versus allowing them to adjust
Mm.
into learning that you're always going to come back.
Mm.
Right.
So how do you say, and using that example, what do you feel like is the line between like positive reinforcement and I guess life, just going, especially through what you just said about like academics, for example. Usually parents would, when you get good grades, you'll get like a reward, which is labeled as positive reinforcement. So, but what is that line where it becomes like an unhealthy space to be in?
I think personally, and I have a daughter who she's my bonus baby and she's 18 years old. Um, and one of the things that I try to empower with her is her power of choice.
Okay.
So when a child feels as if your love, affection, attention, acceptance is part of the condition,
Mm,
then we've gone too far,
okay.
right? She knows that if she gets an A or a C, you know, I'm still gonna love her at the end of the day. Now I know she do better than a C, but if she gets it, I want to know why. Were you stressed or whatever the case may be, and take that on,
Got it.
right? But I'm not going to chastise or demean or shame because you didn't meet this level because I only love you at this level.
Mm,
Right now, we don't
yeah.
say that, but that is the impression, or that's what our child may hear. So we have to be very cautious about the messaging that we're sending that creates conditional love in our relationship.
Right. That was actually very well said. Just because I'm just like, wow, yeah, like I could understand, especially like in my own upbringing. Like, I think black moms, so to speak, they oftentimes like, you want get good grades and every my mom was like every last one of her kids need to have a high school diploma. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do outside of that high school diploma is up to you, but the high school diploma is for me, is what
Mm-hmm.
she was saying. And then I went off and I got like so much other degrees. And I had to sit with myself because I realized, like, obviously, not obviously, but they would show up for the graduation, but really wasn't invested in the journey that it took to get there. Like they were there for the praises and the accomplishment, but really
Right.
wasn't there in between. And I always ask myself, like, what is happening in between here? That I thought in my brain, it was like, okay, I've always gotten good grades in grade school. And so I'm like, okay, I'm continuing on this journey, and I'm waiting for like those little applause or whatever from my parent,
Mhm.
and I never got it. And I was
Mhm.
just like, what is happening? And then I sat with myself and I realized, like, wait, her only requirement was high school. This rest of the journey is for me. And I
Yeah.
didn't know what that felt like. And I didn't know how to just be proud or happy for myself, because I was graduating and I was like, look, I did it. And it was just like, yeah, this is nice. And then after a while, they were like, you still in school? Like, what are you, you know what
Right.
I mean? Like, why
Mhm.
are you still going back? And
Mhm.
after a while, I had to realize, like, oh, these degrees is for me now. Like, I did what she wanted me to do. Like, this is personal. And
Right.
so I'm just like, wow, that, like that kind of
Yeah.
correlates, because I agree. A lot of times, or I don't think she realized that that was how she was displaying a very conditional love. Like, because after we all turned 18 and graduated high school, I mean, we could have did literally anything we wanted, and there was no like paying attention to our movements the way that she carried us through high school.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I'm just kind of connecting that, because I'm just like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
I agree. So this is a lot of worded response for me to just say I agree.
Yeah, but it's crazy because realizing that that push for education, especially in the Black community,
Mhm.
it is derived from colonization.
Mm,
It is a way for us to achieve, and some people may take this wrong, but whiteness.
mm,
Right. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about Caucasian people, but I'm talking about that higher echelon that was presented to us through fancy clothes and big houses and that level of, excellence.
yeah,
Right. So when you come from an oppressed people, that is what you aim for. And that's why a lot of minority families definitely put that pressure on education. Right.
yeah,
Because that's the way that we've been programmed to believe that's how you get it,
yeah, yes.
although society has told us that's not the
That's
only way.
not even the case.
And
Now I
one of
got
the
all these
things,
degrees,
right, right,
and especially this day and age where like everybody is doing everything else but getting a degree, and they're
right.
super successful in, or seemingly super successful in whatever they're doing. So,
I remember when my daughter was in like the third or fourth grade,
mm,
and she's very shy, and she was being, I guess, chastised in school by some of her counterparts. I don't use the word bully. I'm
mm,
old school. I'm Gen X. Um, so she would want to be hesitant about reading.
mm,
And I told her, I was like, she's like, you're not gonna force me to read? No, girl, I got my degrees. It's up to you. I did my work. Do you want to do your work? And she slowly progressed to sitting next to me and reading at the same time as me, which
wow.
empowered her. The girl is smart. Like, I'm talking 4.3 GPA, graduating high school,
Okay.
going into college. Okay.
Okay.
But to
Wow.
know that, like, I didn't attach that condition that
Mm,
you had to do it, which made it her choice at that point. And people,
mm,
as you know just as well as I do, when people are involved and they have a choice in their healing, they do better.
yes, agreed. For sure. Wow. Thank you. I know we got a little bit off of
That's
script,
okay.
but listen, it all makes sense. It's all tying in. All right. So we kind of spoke a little bit about this, especially during our icebreaker, but what makes a healthy relationship?
The easiest answer to that would be choice.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
believe that you have to know what you're choosing and have the freedom to choose
Hmm.
without guilt, without shame. You have to be able to choose. I want to cook you dinner tonight. I
Mm.
want to sit here and listen to you vent.
Yes.
I want to apologize.
Hmm.
Right? That choice is so powerful, but underestimated in relationships. And I think it's almost the foundation to it being healthy.
I agree. To wake up every day and choose somebody else feels, first of all, like a super phenomenal feeling. And it is like kind of like, wow, like you ever just look at somebody when you're in a relationship and it's like, okay. we still here, we still locked in. I still choose you, and you still, and Lord knows, there's some days I am just not interested in what you got going on.
Mhm.
And I, you know, still showing up and still choosing to be interested even when you're not is definitely, I guess, keys to a healthy relationship.
And what I would question my client in that type of situation is I would say, okay, so when you're not interested, what are you choosing to do?
Mm,
Right? Because you might be choosing to pout, and that's okay.
yeah,
Right? But give yourself that minute to feel whatever you got to feel and then go back to your original choice of this being my safe zone. Right?
exactly.
Because I don't remember who said it, but I overheard someone once, and I wish I could remember their name, but I'm terrible with names. So, ooh.
Please,
But
I
they had
understand.
said that, you have to wake up and choose your person daily
Mm,
because you have to look at healing them or helping them as an opportunity versus a hardship,
yeah,
right? So if I get to be the person you vent to, I'm excited because you get to be free and open with me.
yeah.
You get to be vulnerable, right? I'm your safe place. Yes, give it to me,
Yeah, it's a privilege.
right? Yeah, it's a privilege.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are in the relationship, we're having issues. Why do you feel like a couples they always come to therapy saying we having problems with communicating?
Because most people don't understand that talking is more than just words.
Mm, that's Jesus. Yes.
To understand your partner, you must see them as a total different species.
Mhm.
You must have that curiosity to learn their language, not only words, but tones and emphasis. And one of the things that me and my partner have an issue with is I am a literal person. I
Mm.
will use a word. My mom used to make me read the dictionary when I was in trouble.
Oh. Oh.
So I will use a word most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And because it sounds spicy, she'd be like, I feel like you just cussed at me in some way, shape, or form. I don't know.
Uh-uh.
Right. But that's what I mean about learning the language. Like we just had a conversation a couple of days ago about the word pathetic.
Mm.
And I learned, hey, I learned that people use the word pathetic as an insult
Mm.
versus a descriptor of someone's expressive emotional state.
Mm. Okay.
And that was the language that I had to learn. That there are certain words that she's going to hear as an insult when I'm using them as descriptors, right?
Yeah.
So it's that thing. We have to learn that language. How do you process information? What do those words mean to you from your past, right?
Yeah.
And what hurt may I be triggering unintentionally?
Yeah. So why do you feel like that is so hard to, I mean, granted, it's nice because that's what keeps us in business, you know, to be able to tell people what necessarily they should already know. But why do you think that's such a hard concept to understand that communication is not only this, but it's this and understanding and the way you process? Like, what is so hard about that?
I think most of us are not brought up in families that water a child speaking, asking questions, or being a child's place,
Yeah.
right? Me personally, my aunties will tell you I have always asked questions that I probably shouldn't have because my mother, she watered that curiosity. So I
Mm,
think that people are underdeveloped in what it means to actually hear someone
mm,
instead of like just hearing them or understanding them. What does it mean to understand them? Because we're so used to not being heard or we're so used to being silenced, right? So when it comes time to be expressive, well, we might be doing it in the wrong way and just, putting some words out there. And if you heard me, you heard me.
yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
understand me?
Mm-hmm. And
Because I
no
tell all my clients when they come in, like, oh, we have communication, I start laughing right away. I'm like, you do not have a problem talking. You conveyed that sentence very well. What you have a problem with is understanding and listening.
exactly. Oh my goodness. I just had a couple like 2 weeks ago. And that's what they came in for. And I was just cracking up at the end because I'm like, you guys been talking to me this whole time. So you talking about you came in for you're having problems communicating, but both of y'all had the chance to speak, and I didn't see any holes in the way that you guys were communicating. So
Right.
it's definitely time to like reframe what we feel like or understand communication to actually be.
Mm.
Because when you come in saying we have problems communicating and you're talking to me just fine and I'm listening, well, this is a conversation. Seems pretty healthy to me. What do you
We
mean?
all were understood. We were all speaking the same language.
Literally.
Right. Right. I heard you.
That is so funny. Okay. So so now we are like we're approaching the end of the year and we are single and we want to know like when we feel like is it safe to start dating again. So what are some things that people or what should people feel in order to say, okay, I am ready to date. Like I'm ready to get back on the market. I'm ready to put myself back out there. Like what are some things, sorry, some people should consider?
I think the way that you framed that was great because it is about a want. I want to get back out there, not I need to,
Mm,
not I'm lonely,
yeah,
not I need a companion,
yeah,
right? But I want to subject myself to the vetting process of finding someone that fits with me,
yeah.
right? So I think that want, not accompanied with any other, need, is
Hmm.
extremely important to determining if you're ready to date.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so, what are you saying? And we have listeners from all different age groups. So, what are some things that you would say to them where they say, the whole like biological clock is ticking. I need to be in a relationship, or I'm getting too old to not be in a relationship. What are some things that you would, or some suggestions you would give them?
I would say put that clock in a cement box and do it on your own time.
Mm.
Because rushing into doing something that you're not ready for is going to cause and introduce more problems into your life. You know, thinking that you have to have a box to check off is another just way of self sabotage or saying I'm not worth the wait or whatever the case may be. And when you prioritize those thoughts, you actually decrease your self value,
Mm.
right?
Agreed, agreed, agreed. So we're actually wrapping up this episode. First off, thank you. Thank you,
No
thank you, thank you for
worries.
joining. Is there anything that you would like to leave anybody here listening on about the end of the year approaching, seasonal times? Because I don't want to be naive to the fact that a lot of seasonal depression or
Mm-hmm.
seasonal levels of curiosity comes up around this time of year. So I definitely want to make sure I'm touching on this, even though it's not specific to relationships. I don't want to be blind to the fact that we are in a very interesting time of the year.
Definitely. I would encourage people, single or otherwise, to embody what the season actually means. It's about giving, but you don't have to give to other people, give to yourself.
Mm.
Share that love with yourself, celebrate yourself. And if you are lonely and you need companionship, talk to your community, get out there and have, a friend's giving, right? These things, and ask for the support you need,
Mm.
right? Ask for it because you can celebrate and make a whole new tradition by yourself. There is nothing that says you need this whole group of people to support you, right? I find it very fun and entertaining to dance in my living room alone. We'll have a strobe light and everything, trust and believe me,
Love that.
right? But whenever you are feeling down, it
Mm.
is automatic that you must find something to bring yourself up.
Yeah.
And dancing and music have been scientifically proven to be the fastest way to change your mood. So get you a turn up girl playlist or a turn up boy playlist
Mhm.
and get your mood right.
Agreed. Don't be listening to no sad stuff, especially
Nope.
not this time of year. Please,
Mm-mm.
nothing sad.
Nothing sad. Nothing sad. Watch some Hallmark movies or something. I don't know. Whatever's going to tickle your fancy, do that. But don't ever feel down about, where you are in life because this is a phase.
Mm, yeah. And like the time of the year, it's a season. Seasons change. You're not always going to be in this one season. So if you let yourself get swallowed in the fact that we're in the season and you let it carry on,
Mm-hmm.
you do yourself a disservice.
Right. Right. Because we all know what blooms like winter, spring, right? We all know the bloom is in spring. So do what you ever do. Go to the gym, do what you have to do, whatever you feel is going to help you pop out in spring as the better version of you. Go ahead and do that.
Agree. Well, thank you so much, Rocky. Is there anything that you want, to drop like your social medias? I'm obviously going to, of course, put it in like the descriptions below, but where could people follow you?
Well, I am listed on all social media platforms. You can just go ahead and put in Rocki Campbell, licensed marriage and family therapist. You can also look me up on the MFT website because I am actually soon to be listed as a supervisor on there also. And yes, hit me up, text me. I don't care. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, look me up. Find somebody who knows me because I'm everywhere. Someone done laughed at me at one time.
So before we go, I definitely don't want to miss the opportunity to give you your flowers while you're still
Oh,
and here and above this side of the ground. I definitely want to just let you know that your purpose and your passion and your presence here is definitely motivational, super inspiring. It makes me smile. So I know if it's making me smile, it's definitely making everybody who follows you smile and then some. I definitely appreciate your presence. You and I share the same kind of motive on our why. And for that, I'm just like, I'm super grateful that there's more of us out here doing the same thing, showing people
definitely.
that there's more avenues of healing and not
Yes.
just a way that they should be afraid of or a way that they should not want to participate in because they are afraid of the generic way of therapy or just like something that isn't true. And so I appreciate you just showing up, even on the days where you probably don't feel like it, or even the days where you just feel tired, or even the days where you feel excited to show up and you still take that action to do so. So I definitely appreciate your presence. This is no mistake that I decided I was like, oh yeah, no, I need you here because I think you do amazing work. Your presence and just being unapologetically you is so inspiring. So I definitely just want to make sure that I'm giving you your flowers because I'm paying attention. And I know if I'm paying attention, a lot of people are paying attention, even if they're just watching and not even engaging in the content. We're all paying attention, and I'm rooting for you for sure.
Well, the same goes for you because this is an amazing platform and it does allow us to be seen. And even if someone, has never ventured out into therapy, we as regular, unapologetic people,
Mm-hmm.
we give them permission
Mm-hmm.
to try something new. So thank you for being a positive part of the community, an authentic and unique part of the community, and allowing your community to reach other communities.
Thank you. I received that. Well, I'm going to wrap up this episode because I feel like I could go on and get mushy about this. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure y'all do like, comment, subscribe if you're listening. Make sure you rate our podcast 5 stars, all the good things. And we will see you next episode.